and depth. Now, number one, let's start by definition. Here we go. Chastity is a state of living governed by a resolve to identify and adopt a right lifestyle. Chastity is also known as righteousness, and it is also known as holiness. And we can also say that chastity is righteousness and also holiness. So, for you to be a chaste young person, or to be said you are living a life of chastity, number one, you have to ensure your living is governed by this particular resolve. That is, you are going to identify and adopt the right lifestyle. Mark the word right, because the truth is, there is wrong kind of lifestyle. And that's why we have people who live right and we have people who live wrong. So if you are living wrong, of course we can list what living a wrong life entails. But because we are not going to list that. What we are going to list is what living a right life entails. Because that is what makes a young person to be chaste, or to be holy, or to be righteous. Righteousness and holiness, people tend to think this is a word which tends to identify with religious organizations. But the truth is, righteousness, holiness, and chastity does not only exist in religious organizations or at church. In fact, the reason why that word is so common at church is because it's usually a preparation which gives people, or which sets people in the right environment to thrive at every other thing in life. Are we together? Because righteousness and holiness is simply being aligned or aligning yourself to set regulations or laws or rules. And that is why when you read the Bible, which is a book I usually read every day, there is a chapter in Genesis which has what we call the 10 Commandments, which is a list of rules, a list of regulations, which God gave to a leader who was leading around 2.5 million people. And he gave that particular leader called Moses those 10 rules and regulations as a constitution for those people. Because in today's terms, Moses was a president and Moses was leading a country. And every country has to be led by a constitution. And that is why every constitution in the world, Johannesburg in South Africa, to Cairo in Egypt, to Sydney in Australia, to London in UK, all the way to New York at the United States of America, go down to Argentina, to Brazil, all those constitutions borrow the 10 Commandments. Every constitution says, don't steal. Every constitution says, don't kill. That began in the 10 Commandments. Are we together? So, if you are a citizen who is law-abiding and you are not caught stealing, you are not caught abusing someone, you are not caught in corruption, what happens is, it is usually said, you are righteous or you are within the law of that particular state. And that is what we call a righteous or a holy citizen. So, at church, we are usually told, when we follow what God says we follow, which of course are the laws of God, we are righteous, we will be chaste, we will be holy. So it's just the same thing. So as a young person, it is good for you to understand what is chastity. Because if you understand the art of living a life of chastity, you will be so much advantaged in life. Are we together? In fact, you will be shielded from very many troubles which catch up with people because they don't choose to resolve to have their lifestyle governed by the right choices of life. So, what are the advantages of chastity to you as a young person? If you decide, I am going to live a right life every day of my life, how will this help me? So number one, advantages or pros of chastity. If you are writing right, number one is this: chastity secludes you. Or number one is seclusion. The first advantage of chastity is seclusion. And seclusion simply means being separated from the masses. You see, the truth is, not many people are willing to live a chaste life. Everybody wants to break rules and laws and regulations. Every young person at the school where you study, they just want to break a school rule. They want to arrive in class late. They want to make noise in class. They want to litter the compound. Akitembea hivi aone bulb, ataka tu kugonga hiyo bulb ivunjike. So every average young person wants to live a life full of lawlessness. So when you decide as a teenager, I'm going to embrace chastity. Number one, that separates you from masses. And that's a great advantage. Because most of the times, we discover our purpose, as you are taught in the morning, in our alone time. When we are away from the noises, that is the time we discover our purpose. That is the time we reflect on the grades which we are supposed to score at school. That is the moment we remember, I am the only person at home. All eyes are on. That is the time we remember when my mother looks at me, she sees our hope. That is the time we remember my father wakes up early in the morning and hustles every kind of hustling to raise school fees to empower my life. And that comes through the decision to embrace chastity. Advantage number 2 is development. With chastity comes development. Just as I've said, when you choose to live a chaste life, what happens is you are separated from the masses. And now when you are alone, development of skills, discovery of strengths, and development of those strengths starts to kick in. And that's when unasikianga kama uko shule, especially high school ama grade school sahi, ndio unasikianga na so and so siku hizi yako focused. Kwa nini? Wale wase alikuwa anashinda na wao wa mchezo na kupewa punishment every other time na kupatia walimu ma nicknames juu na nini na nini. Wase ashindi na wao sahi. Mse ako peke yake. Mse ako focused. And all of a sudden, in 2-3 terms, the kind of grades this particular person is scoring, they are not the grades with the person was scoring the other day. Na mkiona kama ni mchezo, KCSE comes, you do the exams, you qualify to go to campus and college. And the rest is history. The guys who never decided to embrace a chaste life or a right lifestyle, unawaacha huko. 10 years to come ndio unakutana na wao, wanafikiria mnaweza piga zile story mlikuwa mnapiga. Ama mnaweza zoea venye mlikuwa mnazoea na mkiwa high school. Lakini wanapata, you left long time ago. Why? You chose a life of chastity which secluded you and gave you a room to develop yourself. The other advantage is this, competitiveness. Embracing a chaste life or holiness or chastity makes you competitive in life. How does this happen? Anytime your skills are developing or anytime you are developing yourself, be it academically, probably you could be developing your natural skills like communication skills, like business skills, like innovation skills, technology skills, even sometimes understanding skills. Because sometimes I discovered many young people are so much disrupted. Unapata wakati mmeketi kama sasa hivi wenye mmeketi hapa mkisikiliza, your mind is so much full of many things because you have not embraced chastity. Unapata hata uwezi elewa. Mwalimu wa maths akiingia anafunza wakati anasema class we see each other the day after tomorrow, Benson anakujanga na sweta ijafuliwa. Wewe ndio unajua kwa nini Jerry kiatu yake imetoboka. Yani wewe ndio unajua nani ali break up, wewe ndio unajua nani ana cheat nani, because you are all over. But when you embrace a life of chastity, you are just focused. And sometimes you might discover, apart from what the teacher is teaching, either at church, at school, you don't know any other thing concerning the rest of the students. Like sometimes I'm in a group of people and nimekaa nao like 3 months and then nakuja kusikia story na discussiwa ili happen 4 months ago and I've been in the room and I've never known. Why? All the time keeping the focus. So as a young person, there's nothing which will make you competitive like embracing chastity, because you will have the state where excellence drives best art. Are we together? Now, the other advantage is excellence, as I've mentioned. Embrace a life of holiness and righteousness all the time, being aligned with the laws of God and with school regulations, with your institution regulations, all the time. You will be excelling. The other advantage is promotion. And this one I'm going to refer to Daniel. Now, Daniel, a teenager, finds himself colonized or taken captive by the king of Babylon. And then he's like, I am young. Then he's given an opportunity to be in school like the way you guys were in school. Majority of you here are either in college or high school. So he pinpointed and appointed to be enrolled in the university or in the college of King Nebuchadnezzar, so that they can assist in governance, because his rule was stretching so far or quite huge or quite broad, and Nebuchadnezzar lacked the human resource to manage his territory of governance. Just the same you guys are. The reason why you are in school is because the population is growing. I was doing some research and they were saying by 2050, the population of Kenya will be close to 80 million. So with 80 million population, we need more skilled human resource. And that's why you are in school trying to have these skills inculcated in you so that you can serve such a population. So the same thing was happening to Daniel. Then Daniel discovered there was opportunity not to live a life of chastity. And then he decided to do what? To resolve, as far as I am here, I am going to embrace chastity. And that's why he said he was not going to embrace what every other young person was open to embrace in the story. When times for testing came, he was 10 times better. And we know what happened is, together with these other 3 guys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were promoted in rank. The other advantage is durability. Durability. When you live a chaste life, you live long. Your skills are indispensable. Anywhere you go, you dominate. Yeah, you dominate. And you stay there for long. In the story of Daniel, Daniel reigned in the position which he was in, the position of a prime minister or the advisor of the council which was governing Babylon. He reigned over 4 kings' reigns. Ni kama for example venye hapa Kenya tumekuwa na Moi, tumekuwa na Kibaki, tumekuwa na Uhuru, sasa tuko na Ruto. Upate kuna msee amekuwa aki-advise every president na hajai acha. Alianza akiwa 18. Ali-advise mpaka his old age. So as a young person, if you decide to live a life of chastity, that is all the time, I will never waste my time fighting with the law or breaking the law. Someone told us, anytime you try to break the law never breaks. You are the one who breaks. The law always breaks us. So that's why Daniel from a teenager alikuwa na advice ma kings. Yeye tu alikuwa anaishi kwa mapalace. He never knew the streets from where his brethren mali walikuwa wanaishi kama slaves. Yeye hakujua. It's just like Joseph. Joseph alienda Egypt akakuwa prime minister. His life ilikuwa ya palace. So you have to decide as a young person, you are going to embrace a life of chastity. The other advantage is dominion. Dominion is having control over your life and having control over every need of life, because with chastity, you are all the time at the right place. And when you are at the right place, the right opportunities find you there, the right promotions find you there, the right advantages find you there. And even when challenges come, that position of chastity inakuanga imekuweka mahali whereby such that the resources you need to conquer those challenges are available for you. And that is why you will always have the answer to every need in life. And can I tell you, what makes people poor, what makes people suffer, what makes people cry is because they don't have solutions for their current challenges. But when you decide to live a holy life, a righteous life, which is a life of all the time, place uko, unajaribu kuangalia, what am I supposed to be doing now? And you are doing that particular thing that very moment. Ukiishi your life, unapatanga most of the times you have the answers to your problem. And even if you do not have, you have already networked with someone, or you are in a relationship with someone, either an equal relationship or a senior relationship with someone who can assist you. And there's no challenge which happens to be bigger than you. Then the other thing, which is the last thing, is liberation. Chastity gives you liberation. That is freedom. Unapata zile vitu other things wanaingia in them and they end up suffering, they end up in bondage, wanaingia kwa covenants zenye zitawasumbua years and years to come. Hizo ni vitu wewe utawaijipata in. So you are all the time happy, you are all the time free. All the time is like you have wings to fly, to go everywhere you want to go, as far as your destiny is concerned. So I was just giving you a test. Kindly, December, please be having 4 or 5 days training session. Usikatae kukuja. We'll continue from that point. Now, this is the activity I want to give you so that we continue from there. Now, we have agreed living a life of chastity will give you all those things, starting from you will live a separate life. After that, you will be developed. It will give you development. It will make you competitive. It will make you excellent. It will give you excellence. It will give you promotion in life. It will make you durable. It will give you dominion and liberation. So, hii ndio ile activity nataka tufanye haraka tu. Now, Sasa umesikia hiyo topic ya chastity. Nataka wewe mwenyewe hapo kwa akili